The wind howled, rain lashed down, a relentless torrent. The air crackled with an ominous energy. This was no ordinary storm. This was Cyclone Freddy, a monster of unprecedented fury, bearing down on vulnerable communities. It was a maelstrom of wind and water, a force of nature poised to reshape lives and landscapes. For those in its path, there was nowhere to hide. This was a fight for survival. The storm surge roared ashore, swallowing homes and businesses whole. Trees were ripped from the earth, their roots exposed like skeletal fingers. The wind, a screaming banshee, tore at anything in its path. This was the raw, terrifying power of nature, unleashed with a vengeance. Freddy's story began far away, in the warm waters of the Indian Ocean, near Australia. It was early February 2023, and a disturbance in the atmosphere began to gather strength. Fueled by the heat of the ocean, it swirled and grew, transforming into a tropical depression. The winds picked up, the rain intensified, Freddy was born. Over the next few weeks, Freddy embarked on a journey across the ocean, a journey unlike any other cyclone in recorded history. It churned westward, gaining strength, its path influenced by atmospheric conditions and the Earth's rotation. Freddy was not just another storm, it was an anomaly, a record breaker destined to leave a trail of destruction in its wake. Freddy's first victims were the island nation of Madagascar. It slammed into the eastern coast, bringing torrential rain, flooding, and landslides. Homes were destroyed, crops ruined, and lives lost. The storm then veered away, seemingly spent, but this was just a brief respite. Freddy was not finished yet.
It looped back, gathering strength over the warm waters of the Mozambique Channel. It made landfall again, this time in Mozambique, with even greater ferocity. The storm surge, a towering wall of water, inundated coastal communities. The rain fell in unprecedented quantities, turning rivers into raging torrents. The devastation was widespread and catastrophic.
As Freddy finally moved inland, weakening over the African continent, the true scale of the disaster began to emerge. The floodwaters slowly receded, revealing a landscape scarred and broken. Homes were reduced to rubble. Roads and bridges were washed away. The air was thick with the stench of death and decay.
The survivors emerged from the wreckage, shell-shocked and traumatized. They had lost everything, their homes, their livelihoods, and in many cases, their loved ones. But amidst the despair, there were also stories of incredible resilience. Neighbors helped neighbors. Strangers shared what little food and water they had. The human spirit, though battered, was not broken. Section 5. The Human Cost. Aisha's story. Aisha, a bright-eyed girl of 8, huddled with her family in a makeshift shelter. They had lost their home in the storm, their belongings washed away by the flood. Aisha's world, once filled with the simple joys of childhood, was now defined by loss and uncertainty. Her story is not unique. Cyclone Freddy claimed the lives of over 1,000 people, leaving countless others injured or displaced. Families were torn apart, children were orphaned. The emotional toll of the disaster will continue to reverberate for years to come.
Section 6. Systemic Failures, a Breach of Trust. The Wrath of Cyclone. Freddy exposed another tragedy. The systemic failures that amplified the disaster's impact. Early warning systems, designed to give communities time to prepare, were inadequate. Corruption diverted funds meant for disaster preparedness. Evacuation plans were poorly executed, leaving many stranded in harm's way. This was not just a natural disaster, it was a human-made catastrophe. The failure to invest in resilient infrastructure, to address climate change, and to prioritize the needs of the most vulnerable had deadly consequences. The world watched in horror, but the question remained: would lessons be learned?
Section 7. A World on Fire, Climate Change and the Rise of Freddy, Cyclone. Freddy was a stark reminder of the growing threat of climate change. The warming of the planet's oceans is fueling more intense and unpredictable storms. Freddy's unusual longevity, its looping path, and its sheer ferocity were all amplified by the changing climate. This is not just a problem for the future, it is a clear and present danger. As the planet continues to warm, we can expect to see more extreme weather events like Freddy, with devastating consequences for communities around the world. The time for action is now.
Section 8. Seeds of Hope, Rebuilding and the Path Forward. In the aftermath of the storm, amidst the rubble and the grief, there were also seeds of hope. Communities came together to rebuild their lives and their homes. International aid organizations provided essential supplies and support. The spirit of resilience, so evident in the wake of the disaster, offered a glimmer of hope.
But rebuilding is not enough. We must learn from the tragedy of Cyclone Freddy. We must invest in smarter, more resilient infrastructure. We must strengthen early warning systems and evacuation plans.
We must address the root causes of climate change and work together to create a safer, more sustainable future for all. The time for complacency is over. The time for action is now.